Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Jakob Gramegna / Amateur Sport. We are back live. We're here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, hanging out with me here today. We got the Friday edition of the Raptors Happy Hour coming at you today, and we are going to be discussing a lot to do with the Raptors and their centers and the potential centers of the future. We're going to be looking at Jakob Poeltl and his struggles this season. We're going to be looking at Sandro Mamukelashvili and his successes this season. And we're going to be looking at some centers the Raptors have their eyes on, particularly one center that the Raptors reportedly have had specific discussions with in regards to a trade. And along the way as well, I'll answer questions from the chat. I'll also cover what we saw in yesterday's win against Milwaukee Bucks because I missed a stream yesterday, which I'll talk about as well. So we got a good show lined up for you today. Make sure you do hit the like button if you do enjoy. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you are new, and we can get things going here today. So, yesterday, Raptors got a win against the Milwaukee Bucks. Unfortunately, I missed that stream, and it is not my fault that I missed it. I work pretty late on Thursdays, which I am aware of, and I planned for. I planned that around streaming stuff. I worked till about 7, and then I quickly took my dog for a walk, made dinner, sat down for dinner at about 7:30, and I literally I can't make it up. I mean, I guess the true like sitcom timing of it all would be, I've worked hard in the kitchen. I finally sat down, a big finally. And as I lift for the first bite, banging on my door. Now, the difference in timing here is that I did manage to get a bite in. I took a bite as I'm chewing, banging on my door, and commotion almost going on outside. Like something's wrong. What the hell's going on? I go to my front door, look through the people. I see a bunch of firefighters there. I'm like, oh shit, there's a fire. Anyways, they come in and there was a gas leak in the building. They came in to test the unit. There was gas present in the unit. Nothing like of a dangerous level. Nothing of the sorts. Just enough that they needed to evacuate and get the leak fixed and the gas levels back down to 0 before we could go back into the apartment. So that all kind of happened around 7:45. Went outside with my dog. It was thankfully it wasn't too cold. Had to basically just stand outside waiting for them to say I could go back in. Took about an hour. I wanted to start stream at 8. The game started. It was scheduled for 8. Started like about 8:10, 8:12-ish. So missed the start. And by the time it was like 8:15, 8:30, I'm like, yeah, this isn't happening, unfortunately. So had to cancel stream. I missed the first quarter, but I was able to sit down and watch the rest of the game. But shame I wasn't able to stream for that one because I'm going to be missing a bunch of upcoming streams due to, holiday stuff and life gets busy around the holidays. So I've got plans on Saturday, which is tomorrow. I won't be able to stream tomorrow. And then over the holiday period, I'm going to be missing games just because it's, holidays and stuff. So I want to I really make a very large effort to get in the streams that I'm able to get in for watch-alongs. And that one was just something that was completely out of my control. Yes, Bullet Bill in chat. Good thing they caught it. So that's why I didn't stream yesterday, unfortunately. But again, it is what it is. Nothing I could do about it. On to the chat here. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. I see Q-Man in chat. I see Bullet Bill. Now talk about a stream OG, Bullet Bill. And I see Post Martinista. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it, guys. Hope you had a great week. Hope you got a good Friday lined up. My parents are in town. Tomorrow. So looking forward to, or in town tonight, sorry. So I'm going to be hanging out with my parents. So looking forward to that. I'm going to see them at Christmas as well. They wanted to come downtown, check out the new digs after settling in on the move. So yeah, got a good night planned tonight. Jake Paul is fighting Anthony Joshua. I'm pretty excited for that fight as well. I have a wager on Anthony Joshua, so he's the favorite by a lot. So I'm gonna be sweating that fight a little bit, but I think Anthony Joshua is gonna end up winning that one. Oh, my keyboard's about to die. Anyways, I'm excited to just watch that. Sorry, I just got a message from work. And my keyboard's about to die. One sec. I just got home. I'm a little bit erratic is the word I'll use. I just got home from physio. I didn't really have time to. I prep all like the stream stuff in the morning, so there's no issue for the stream. But like as far as like the little things, the housekeeping, I guess we'll call it. That can. That's where I maybe have a little bit of loose ends to tie here. So keyboard is gonna die. Let's plug that in, and then we'll be on with the show. We got D-Wiz joins. Oh my God, D-Wiz. Jesus Christ, that is a name I haven't seen in a long time. D-Wiz, hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Great to catch a little bit of stream. Big ups, yes. Thanks for coming through, hanging out. Hope you've been well. Sorry. All right, let's do this. These streams suck, don't they? All right. So like I said, this is gonna be the director stream today. We're gonna go through the box score and stuff from yesterday's win against the Bucks. I haven't given you any of my thoughts on that. We're gonna talk about Jakob Poeltl, who missed that game against the Bucks. And when I got that notification he was gonna miss the game, I went like, "Are you fucking kidding me with this guy?" We're gonna talk about how well Sandro Mamukelashvili is playing because he played great against the Bucks in that starting role. And I want to just gush over how good of the player he is. And then Raptors apparently have made contact and have some talks with a specific center. And I'm not very happy about it. So we're going to talk about that pretty much at the end. But along the way, I'll answer questions from the chat again. Make sure you like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Nice Tads. Good to see you. Life's been crazy recently with work. And the time zones, yes. Watch from England must be tough. Hope you're all good. Good to see you. Well, anyways, good to have you here. Hope all's good. That's great. It's great. Years of we've got generations of stream chat here into here. We got Twitch OGs in the chat. Shout out to Twitch days as well. Skywalking joining us as well here. All right. Enough talk. Let's do it. All right. So this game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Wow, this was sweatier than it should have been. Like, this is they won and I'm happy. Listen, they won and I'm happy. But this is a Milwaukee team that has been struggling and did not have Giannis for this game. Like, a lot of red here, a lot of losses. They lost their game before by 45 points to the freaking Brooklyn Nets of all teams. Now, granted, they beat the Boston Celtics by 15 the game before that, but like, this is a team that is really devoid of a lot of form. And the Raptors in this game in particular, like the way the Raptors were, honestly, the way the Raptors like were playing, you would have thought they'd be absolutely annihilating the Bucks, but they let the Bucks hang around, which was disappointing. Lots of turnovers. I mean, granted, first half they weren't getting a lot of foul calls. In fact, they didn't get any foul calls. They didn't take any free throws in the first half, which was obviously a little bit strange. But they let the Bucks hang around in this game with some sloppy defense and particularly some poor turnovers in the first half. I actually don't know what the turnover stats finished as. In the end, it was pretty even. It was quite sloppy in the first half from the Raptors. So this, to put it disrespectfully, this ragtag group of Bucks players, this group should not have been hanging around with us. Honestly, we should have been much more comfortable in winning this game. That being said, the Raptors found a way to win. They got through this game in the clutch, like so many games this season. I still want to consider these sorts of wins as a obviously any win is a positive, but I still want to consider them a positive in the sense of good teams come through games like these tight games where they're maybe not at their best, but they find a way to win. They will themselves over the line to victory. I still want to consider that to be a positive for this Raptors team. Perhaps like a little bit alarming with like the frequency of it, but like, again, to put it disrespectfully, a team that starts Jericho Sims should just not be hanging with you when you want to be a certified sort of playoff team like the Toronto Raptors want to be. So yeah, not really having it there. They only were able to go 8 deep. Like that was a state of the team here. They were only able to go 8 deep. Raptors kind of heaved a little bit in this one. So again, tough, but they won. They got over the line. And the good news is Brandon Ingram still continues to play extremely well. 29 points, 9 of 18. Fantastic. 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Turnover is still a bit of an issue, as it was for a lot of people in this game. Same case for Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes was terrific, even better than Ingram, you might say. 24 points, 10 of 14, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, couple blocks, couple steals. Barnes has been like firmly at this point a defensive player of the year candidate in the NBA. Looked every bit like that in this game here. Like, Barnes absolutely is in the conversation for defensive player of the year. Last I checked, and I'll just double check right now. Last I checked, he was what am I talking about? Top 6 in betting odds. It's Friday. I'll flex on you guys. I have Barnes 300-1 to win the defensive player of the year. Which means every $1 you bet, you win $300. He's currently now 18-1 to win this award. So again, I am gonna flex, but why is my phone not charging? I'm supposed to charge in this thing. I charged my phone. I'll go plug it in somewhere else. Anyways, I do want to check the odds, and I do want to flex on you guys. Flex Fridays and all. Futures. Awards. Regular season awards. Defensive player of the year. He's lower now, actually. Oh, sorry, he's higher. He's 5th. Oh, Skyride is top 5 in betting odds right now. He is plus 1,800. So he's moved up a spot, but his odds have actually gone up a little bit, meaning he's less likely because Wemby's back and playing well, and Holmgren's like still healthy. But he's in the mix, and he's been terrific on defense this year, as we know. So the fact that he's like producing these great levels offensively, statistically are showing up, and he's been this good defensively. I mean, I find it very, very hard to believe at this point that Scotty Barnes won't end up being an all-star. He's got to be an all-star. I mean, with the way the Raptors' record is as well, and their position in the East right now, I think even if they were a playing team, he should be an all-star right now. Moving down the list, solid minutes from Agbaji as a starter. He's been starting lately. Solid but not spectacular. Mamu, spectacular. 18 points from him, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. 18 points with no free throws. Like, he's been like simply terrific for the Raptors, and we're going to talk more about him a little bit later on. Quickly had another one of those games where he was awful. Like shooting-wise, scoring-wise, he was awful. And he was awful in this game from the decision-making. Like, I remember there was like a fast break. It was 2-on-1, and it was, this is a play that sticks out. It was 2-on-1, and it was him and Agbaji on the break. And quickly threw like a lob that was nowhere near Agbaji, ended up hitting the rim, and it wasted like a good opportunity in like a pretty significant moment of the game. He was awful. But like I said, he's had a lot of these games this season where he was awful scoring, until the clutch, where he made some clutch shots to help get the Raptors over the line. Like, firmly one of those games. He was 3 of 11. Two of those 11 came very late. Sorry, 2 of those 3 came very late in the game. At least he did have 10 assists, but like, just flat out, pretty simple. This guy needs to play better for the Raptors. Again, straight up. Murray Bowles had a solid game. I liked it. Jamal Shed, not his best night of shooting, but again, he's racking up assists, which is great. Walter and Grady Dick still leaving quite a lot to be desired out of them. Jamison Battle, only 5 minutes, misses shots. I mean, he's got to take advantage of his opportunities, I suppose, when they are provided to him. But yeah, like I said, it was a win. KPJ put up 22 for the Bucks inefficiently. Miles Turner put up 21, not super efficient. Like, not really a lot of standouts other than, I guess, Bobby Portis, and I guess Ryan Rollins played well. It's a game that should have been more comfortable for the Raptors, as I mentioned. The good news is they did end up winning. They did end up getting over the line. Where like where the importance of a game like this lies, as well as like I'm saying, the schedule is about to get a lot more difficult. Next 4 games are more manageable. I mean, home against Boston. Boston really like outperformed us last time we played them. Brooklyn should be a win. Miami, we've beaten them away from home already. Hopefully we can do it again. Washington away should be a win as well. Like, that's a team we should be beating. And then it gets tough. Golden State have been super hot, super cold. Maybe more cold than hot. Then you have Orlando, who's starting to play really well. Denver, who are Denver. Atlanta, who are a solid team twice. Charlotte, who's beaten you twice. Boston again. Philly twice. Like, it's a real rough run of games as you get into the mid portion of January. So you gotta like take your wins when they come. Absolutely. And thankfully, we took advantage of these last 2 games that, I mean, really, these 2 games could have gone in the other direction as well. So happy that we got over the line. And again, I still do want to consider it a positive that they're winning games where they're maybe not playing up to the levels that they could or maybe even should be playing. Skywalker said, I really want Sabonis. I'm not a big Sabonis fan, especially for like this team. For me, I really value the center's ability to protect the rim, and I don't think he does that well. So for me, I'm out. And he doesn't space the floor. Like, at least like Poeltl space the floor, but he's a very good rim protector when he's healthy. So we'll talk about it. He's a very good rim protector when he's healthy. Good screen setter, good passer out of the high post. Doesn't get paid as much as Sabonis, does like half. So, anyways, I'm not a big fan of Sabonis for this team. Is Nick Richards bad? Ooh. I don't want to spoil the segment a little bit later. We're going to talk about Nick Richards. I'll keep it. I'm going to keep it on the rails here. Lee Cruz asks or says, I'm a top 0.1 of your viewers according to YouTube Recap. Watch 119 of your videos this year. Thank you so much. Wow, that's amazing. I really appreciate that. I mean, if it's like videos and streams, I don't know what it counts as. I wasn't able to get my YouTube Wrap to like work for me, so I don't really know how it works. But yeah, I mean, regardless, you're in the top 0.1. Thank you to anybody who's even in the 100% of people. Like, thank you so much. But wow, to be that locked into the content, that makes me feel good. Thank you so much for supporting the content. I mean, I hope it's been enjoyable, and if you've watched 119, I certainly hope you've enjoyed it. And it's not like I hate this. I do know people that hate watch and hate listen to content. So you never know. But thank you. I really appreciate that. The support is every day. I'm grateful for the support that I get in the stuff that I've been doing here. Diwas, I've been really surprised by Brandon Ingram this season. His mindset seems more focused than I've seen before. I think for Ingram, I think it's just maybe like the exposure. It's kind of weird to get more exposure playing in Toronto than somewhere else. But I think just the exposure has been good for him. And the fact that he's on like a serious team with like serious teammates has been beneficial to him. He has been locked in. I mean, I'm with you. I was expecting a lot out of Brandon Ingram, a lot of good things out of Brandon Ingram, and he's been even better than my expectations. So I've been thrilled with Brandon Ingram. That would be it. Yeah, we'll see. Got a long way to go. I don't think Barnes is going to win it still. But Wemby, if he doesn't meet 65 games, which I don't think he will, and if Wemby plays 65 games, it's over. He's got that. I don't think he will. Chet, if Wemby doesn't play 65 games and Chet does, it's over. Chet's winning DPOY. But if both of them don't play 65 games, and I don't think Wemby will, and I think Chet has a good chance of not doing it, it is going to be a free-for-all for that award. And I'm really excited for that because I think Scotty Barnes will have a great chance of being in the mix. The team defense probably needs to be a bit better for that like case, but he is firmly in the mix for that award. All right. Let me see. Sorry, you got a message from work where somebody's out. Somebody's out like one of the people in the company is away, and now we're scrambling to like fill in places. So let me just reply to this. He shouldn't be in any awards. Alien rule. I mean, he hasn't won a DPOY yet. He could like start to run that award, but he hasn't won that award yet. You kind of think like there's no way somebody's ever gonna lose, and then like they eventually do. A lot of the times there's voter fatigue, which doesn't exist. If Wemby plays 65 games, it's his. On any of my NBA Sim 2K, he gets 20. Well, 2K is a bit different. Yeah, 2K can be like that, but there will be voter fatigue. Like I think if he won 4 in a row, at a certain point, you have to really lap yourself to get it. And granted, he could do that. Like think about Jokic. Jokic was the best player in the NBA for 4 years in a row. Joel Embiid won it, and voter fatigue definitely played its part in that. I think even last year, like Shea probably still wins it because of the OKC record, but like if Jokic had no MVPs at that point, I think there could have been a much more serious case for him to win it. So you know, in terms of like these markets, you understand like there's voter fatigue. Also, like, are people going to vote for a Raptors player? Their defense is mid tier in the NBA. I don't know. Anyways, I have a good position. That's what it's all about, finding good positions, and that's what it is on Scotty Barnes. Anyways, let's transition now and talk about, this is going to be a stream that is focused heavily on the Raptors centers, as I mentioned. And the center that I would like to start with here is, unfortunately, Jakob Poeltl. In the offseason, there was maybe some doubt creeping in as to the long-term future of Jakob Poeltl with the team. And then all of that was put to bed when he signed a very sizable extension with the Raptors. It was an extension that came out in the end to, just making sure I have this number right, 4 years, $104 million. On top of him taking his player option for next year of $19.5 million. So Jakob Poeltl has quite good tenure with the Raptors at this point, and he's going to be here for a very long time. But given the way he has started this season with the Raptors, and given the fact that he is on the other side of 30 at this point, I feel like some doubts have to be settling in for a lot of people, and there are doubts certainly settling in from myself as to what impact he's going to bring to the team from that long-term perspective. And I wasn't really thinking this would be a conversation we'd have this year, because in the offseason, when he signed the contract and it got reported, 4-year, $104 million extension, I felt honestly pretty good. I thought, okay, $26 million a year for Jakob Poeltl. This is a quality starting center. He has been excellent for us since we traded for him. I still maintain that it was the wrong time to make the trade. I don't agree with the decision to make the trade, but the trade happened. He's here. With him here, he's been a great center. He's been a great player for the team. Raptors win percentage, like coming into the season, I haven't looked at the update numbers. Coming into the season, Raptors win percentage with him on the floor over the last 2 years, or rather, since we acquired him mid-season, Raptors win percentage with him playing is 44% or so. Without him, it's 24% or so. He makes a big difference. That rim protection makes a big difference. And you could say part of that win percentage, and part of where there's issues in using that statistic of 44% win percentage with him, 24% without him. You could make a case that, okay, he missed 15 games or so. He missed like a long part of a tanking season 2 seasons ago, where the Raptors, I think, lost 15 in a row. He missed all of that. That played a part, for sure. You could also make a case that if they had a suitable backup center, they wouldn't feel the effect of his injuries as much as they do. You could definitely make the case there. But I think very clear, regardless, that they are better when he plays. His rim protection is huge. His rebounding is huge. His ability to keep the offense ticking, even as a center, as a 7-footer, is huge. Like, he is a very large part of the Raptors potentially having success. So I was pretty on board with that contract. Now, the issue with this contract, when you kind of peel back the curtain, on the surface you see 4 years, $104 million. The issue when you kind of peel back the curtain is the Raptors they're paying later. They're saving now, paying later. And it kind of fuels into this mindset that the Raptors are still trying to create a playoff team and a winning team out of this current group. They're giving him $19.5 million this year. That was already on his contract. But the player option was for 26-27, which is next season. As part of this deal, he accepted that player option, and then he's going to be making $27.3 the year after, $29.4 the year after that, and then in his age 34 season, he's making $27.3 million again. So that's a lot of money down the line. So the Raptors are paying later in order to have more financial flexibility right now, which kind of adds fuel to the conversations around what the goals are of the Raptors team this season. So when Darko Rajakovic is at a press conference saying this is the second year of a rebuild, and, you know, Bobby Webster, GM, is coming into the season saying, like, we don't have any expectations going into the year, makes me upset because, no, you backloaded Jakob Poeltl's contract. You stacked the last 3 years to make it cheaper up front. You traded some, like, a significant asset, a pick, to get Brandon Ingram. Like, you went out of your way to go acquire Brandon Ingram, right? This is a team that wants to make the playoffs. And it's frustrating when people within the organization are trying to spin that otherwise. Anyways, back to the conversation here on Jakob Poeltl. I was still comfortable with that money when I saw that, even those financial figures, because I think Jakob Poeltl is such an important part for the team and of the team. Then I saw him play this season, and it is extremely safe to say the statistics and just watching him, it has been rather alarming. And the real, like, tipping point in wanting to make this video was the game against the Milwaukee Bucks, where all of a sudden Jakob Poeltl wakes up and his back's bugging him and he can't play. Like, I'm not blaming him. You know, injuries are injuries. You can't control them. Back injuries are pesky, and there's not much you can do about it. But, like, you know, we just went out of our way to sign him to a big contract. He can't play in back-to-backs right now. When he's on the floor, he's clearly not operating at 100% because he hasn't been playing particularly well this season. And then on any given day, he can just wake up and he can't go. Like, it's a little bit frustrating. That's all. I'm not blaming Jakob Poeltl. I'm just saying, in general, it is a little bit frustrating. It has to be. You have to perceive it in that way, that all of a sudden he can wake up this morning and his back is hurting and he can't play. Like, that's unfortunate, right? Is there no... Anyways. So anyway, just... that's a problem. That you're paying this guy, he's your only center, traditional center, because you didn't sign another one in the offseason again. So when he's out, you feel it more. And any given day, he just might wake up and not be able to play. That's upsetting. And then it's even more upsetting that when he does play, it's clear that he's not at 100%. He hasn't been playing well this season. He's been targeted a lot in defense, and the statistics are showing it. Like, unfortunately, this season, we've played more minutes without him than with him. We've played 524 minutes with him on the floor this season, 825 minutes with him off the floor this season. And the net rating in those 825 minutes is 4.23. 4.23. Net rating with him on the floor this season, unfortunately, is minus 0.8. So, bit of a difference there. We're better when he's not on the floor. Defensive rating improves when he's off, and our offensive rating slightly improves when he's off. I actually didn't verify this. I want to see what it looks like in previous seasons, maybe, for Jakob Poeltl. Last season, the Raptors were far better. They were far better. They were 6.5 points better with him on the floor versus off the floor. And the year before that, let's just kind of take a peek at these numbers here. The year before that, they were a whopping like 8.5 points better with him on the floor versus off the floor. So clearly very impactful, and that's probably something that kind of was in those negotiations from like a Poeltl perspective. It's like the team is way better when I play. This year, however, that's not the case. They are 3.5 points worse when he's on the floor. Now, it's still like somewhat smaller samples because we're still, we are third into the season though, and things can change. But it is just concerning that you've committed all this money to a player. You've committed not only all this money, but all this time where you're going to be paying him. He's already 30 years old. In his age 34 season, he's slated to make $27.3 million. I think like it's only natural at this point to feel certain levels of concern that how like maybe it doesn't look it's all. I mean, right now it doesn't look great, but like, is there any way for this contract to age positively? It feels like inevitably it's going to age negatively. The good news is on the financial side of it is that only $5 million is guaranteed for that final season. So the Raptors have an out there, but it is quite a significant amount of money to be committing to Jakob Poeltl at that point. So if you backloaded it because you want to compete now, like start competing now. Start trying to be good. Like none of this is part of our rebuild. None of this, we have no expectations. No, like you're trying to free up money right now. It is an extreme disservice to Jakob Poeltl's back and to this team still not having a backup center. So definitely some doubts and some alarm is starting to creep in a little bit as far as Jakob Poeltl's long-term future with the team is concerned. But my hope, and I will maintain it's my belief right now, is that as the back starts to heal a little bit, as he starts to feel better and a little bit more comfortable, we will see a better version of Jakob Poeltl on the court, and that will only help the Raptors, who are already 17-11 on the season. But definitely some doubt is starting to creep in from that contract perspective. But again, get healthy, and if he is healthy, he can still be a very talented player. Let's hope that continues. From a Raptors perspective, who knows what the long-term future is, because we've heard rumblings that he's being potentially offered up in trades for Anthony Davis and Domantas Sabonis. Are the Raptors committed to him long-term? Lots of questions to answer. In particular, the biggest thing I want to see is just the back getting healthy, Poeltl getting back to close to his best on the floor. And if he is at his best, he is an incredibly important player to the team, as we've seen from previous seasons. We'll go with that. So, when I see the disdain, the comments against Poeltl, I just think about like how impactful he's been for the team. And I think like D-Wiz in chat kind of puts it well. He's undeniably good, but I just think he's boring. Yeah, I think so too. And people see, I think a lot of it is, I really am selective when I use this word. I think a lot of it is kind of like a casual sort of mindset where like you'll see Miles Turner shooting threes and think, wow, if only we had Miles Turner, a center who could shoot threes. And it's very easy to ignore the glaring problems in Miles Turner's game. Like he's not that good of a defender, and he's an awful rebounder. Poeltl, great at keeping things ticking on offense, which is important for Darko Rajakovic's team. Very good rim protector, very good rebounder, very good screen setter. Like, those are all very important traits for a center. And a lot of them, I guess, can maybe go under the radar quite a little bit. So, again, that factors into things as well for myself. All right, we'll keep things moving. Like I said, it's not all bad. It's not all bad in the center department. Manny Mavs aesthetic bias for sure. I think it kind of is sometimes. I think people just like, I think a lot of more casual raps, and granted, I watch like every game. I do content on the team. I'm very invested. There's a lot of people that just don't have the ability to invest this amount of energy into the team, and maybe just, and I mean this in like a completely non-traditional. There's maybe people who just don't quite understand how the game works enough to understand where like true impact lies in certain spots, in certain positions. Maybe people disagree with me, which is also fine. But Miles Turner is just put up on such like a pedestal by Raptors fans, and I think it's wrong. I just think it's wrong. Anyways, I think Poeltl's worth defending, which is why I defend him, and I think he should be respected by Raptors fans a little bit more. But this season he's been bad. I mean, you can't deny that. But like I said, it hasn't all been bad as far as Raptors centers go this season. The issue with Mamu is that he's just not he doesn't fit that traditional center aspect that we're looking for. But when Jakob Poeltl has been injured this season, we have had to call upon Sandro Mamukelashvili. And when he has been called upon to start, it has been successful. Not quite filling that role of backup rim protector that this team needs, but still an absolute hit in free agency. And for a Raptors team that has had such little success in the free agent market ever, what a signing this has been for the team. But just let's try to put in perspective how good of a signing this has actually been for the Raptors and how much of a game changer he has been for the team this season. I look back on who are the best free agent signings the Raptors have ever made. Certainly in my experience of a fan, I'm 26 years old. My first real experiences watching the Raptors were 2006, 2007 onwards. My real intro to experiencing the Raptors was the Andrea Bargnani era onwards. And in that time, I think it's certainly possible this is the best free agent signing the Raptors have ever made. When the signing was actually made, I think Damari Carroll was the biggest pickup they ever had, but then he turned out to be awful. Hedo Turkoglu was a big pickup, coming off of an NBA Finals appearance with the Atlanta Magic, turned out to be awful. We've had so many misses in free agency. Otto Porter was a good signing. Then he was awful and never healthy for the Raptors. And the types of players the Raptors have landed in free agency, particularly on this level of contract, they've so often gambled on somebody to play above their pay grade, and they just never do for Toronto until now. When the Raptors signed Mamukelashvili in the offseason, I was happy. I acknowledged this wasn't the perfect fit at center that they needed, but a decent player to take a chance on here. They signed him for, I believe this is the minimum, $2.4 million, then $2.8 next year. It's a player option. Essentially, this is more so a bet on yourself contract. He's going to get more exposure playing for the Raptors than he would have done playing for the Spurs, because that's where he came from in free agency. He's going to get a little bit more exposure here, and he's going to try and play for a better contract next season. The only problem with this signing is that he has already played himself to a much larger contract than this for next season because of how well he's played. This is the biggest thing about this is, I think of the Yuta Watanabe signings. I think of the Juancho Hernan-Gomez signings. These are the types of players for the Raptors. It's a guy who's a decent three-point shooter, and you kind of pray and gamble that he ups the level and ups the production from three when he arrived with the Raptors. That was the case for Mamu. Coming off of a great year shooting from three, he shot last season 37% from three. But the year before that, it was 30% from three. So you're just kind of gambling. Which version are you going to get when he arrives? Is it going to be a reliable three-point shot? Or is it not, and it's going to be hard to play him? Well, my God, has he wowed us, because he's kept the three-point levels. He's shooting 36.7% from three this season. He's upped his minutes to 20 minutes per game, and he's maintained the same level of three-point shooting while keeping steady volume of 2.9 attempts per game. And on top of that, he has been great as a defender for the Raptors. He has been excellent in the system and keeping things moving for the Raptors. There is just so much to Mamukelashvili's game that has been a positive for the Raptors that it almost seems like an utter miracle that he actually plays for this team. Like, again, when you consider the level of free agent signings that we have had recently, getting, like, when the Raptors signed him, if he could provide anything at all to the rotation, it would have been a success. But the fact that he is coming off the bench and making a major impact on essentially a game-to-game basis is on it, like, again, like a miracle for this team. We look at what he's done. Like, we looked earlier in the stream at Jakob Poeltl's net rating and how poor it's been when he's on the floor this season. Mamukelashvili's net rating scene is crazy. Like, with Mamu on the floor, they are +9. Net rating of 8.88 when he's on the floor this season. When he's off the floor, it's -2.27. So they are profiting immensely from Mamukelashvili's presence on the floor because of how well he's played, the floor spacing being present, which is great for the bench lineups because in a lot of these bench lineups, you have 4 bench players with either Ingram or Barnes in the mix. We haven't gotten a lot of shooting production out of the guys you expected it from, like the Grady Dicks or Jakob Poeltl. Jamison Battle hasn't played a ton. So you've really needed someone to step up. That player has been Mamu. And that spacing is just giving you more space, providing more room for Brandon Ingram to operate and for Scotty Barnes to operate and play at their best. He is such a fantastic complementary player for these guys. And again, just the levels he has been able to produce this season for the Raptors has been excellent. He's just played so well. So, not to like get too far ahead of ourselves because of like how great it is that he's playing so well and how good he's been for the Raptors. You kind of start to worry and wonder, what happens now at the end of the season. So for me, like, this is a minimum contract. You're trying to win. You're trying to make the playoffs. You're trying to win this season. You're not trading him. Like, you're keeping him. So people have discussed that in the past. That's not going to happen. We're keeping him. We're trying to win. He's going to help us win. The conversation becomes, what is it going to take to keep him here? Because we saw he's a player option worth $2.8 million for next season. From watching him this year, I think I'd be pretty surprised to see that get taken. Like I said earlier on in this segment, like he really like kind of bet on himself with this in a way. Like, I wouldn't say bet on himself. Like, he took like a pay cut, but he took a 1+1 because he's trying to play well enough and expose his talents to the league to get a bigger contract next year. And he's flat out done that. Like, he's been great. And I think a lot of teams have use for this, even the Raptors. So what is it going to take? Because the Raptors have Jakob Poeltl. He's going to start making big money in a couple years. The Raptors need to bring in a backup center who can protect the rim and give more size. Because as much as Mamu's great, he's done well defensively. There's just some matchups where 6'9", like being undersized, just isn't going to cut it. You need something a little bit different. So how much money can be allocated towards Mamukelashvili? I mean, as of right now, I don't think there's a player you'd want to commit a long time to, but are we like getting up to like mid-level exception type of range for Mamu? Could there be a team that views him in that way? I'm not sure. I'm kind of hoping you could look at a deal in the range of like maybe 3 years, 25-ish. Would something like that satisfy Mamu? Considering what the Raptors have given Thaddeus Young and Chris Boucher in the past, they've given Thaddeus Young $8 million. They've given Chris Boucher like $10, $11 million. I feel like Mamu, like on an 8-year, 24-ish, 8-year, would be a pretty good deal for the Raptors. And again, it's just making the room to be able to afford that. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. He's been terrific for the Raptors. I love watching him play. I love his demeanor. I love his attitude. I love his personality off the floor. Like, what an awesome pickup by the Raptors, and a big plus, a major plus in the early stages of Bobby Webster's tenure with the Raptors without Masai Ujiri at his side. So I'll enjoy it while he's here. We'll worry about the contract and his future a little bit later. Let's enjoy him while we have him because he's been great, right? Dennis Schroeder. For Dennis Schroeder, I wasn't a big fan of the signing when they made it, and I wasn't a big fan of him playing for the Raptors when they had him. Like, Dennis Schroeder is a backup point guard. They kind of shoehorned into point guard to back up Fred, or to replace Fred, which was a major downgrade, as we saw. Um, Honestly, in terms of quality of player, though, Dennis Schroeder is one of the bigger pickups they've made in free agency. That is a little bit fair, to be honest. Although they did have to dump his salary halfway through his only year here. So make of that what you will, I guess. Saw a random rumor of Ochai Agbaji to Orlando for Goga. Would that be dumb or okay with you? I doubt it was legit. That would be excellent. I'm a big Goga fan, and I'm a big trading Agbaji for a player to help the team fan. So I'm big on that. I'd be pretty surprised if Orlando had any interest in making a trade like that. But I'll tell you what, there is discussions of rumblings about Ochai Agbaji being included in a different trade and a trade somewhere else, and a player that is a bit more realistic for the Raptors. We have gotten reports that the Raptors are already shopping around the league and discussing specific trades with the mindset of bringing a center to back up Jakob Poeltl. Now, we've talked about some names that are maybe unattainable and more attainable, but the players that could help out the team. And never did we mention on this channel specifically the Raptors having interest in acquiring Nick Richards from the Phoenix Suns. Let's break down what the offer supposedly looks like and if it would be a good move for the Raptors. So, this one comes from, according to the Dunk Central on Twitter, at NBA Central. Good account for like aggregating news and giving credit to people. Per Mike A. Scotto, the Suns and Raptors discussed a trade that would send Ochai Agbaji and a second-round pick to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Nick Richards. NBA executives have cited Toronto's Ochai Agbaji as a likely trade candidate to help the Raptors duck below the tax. In fact, there's been exploratory discussion between the Raptors and Suns regarding Agbaji and a second-round draft pick compensation for Richards. League sources tell Hoops Hype. So, Raptors, I said before the season, are going to have a big interest in ducking the tax. And they have made it clear as well to, it's not made it clear, but we're getting insider scoops that, yes, the Raptors are still interested in ducking the tax, even at this point. So how the tax works, you need to get under the tax threshold by the trade deadline. So the Raptors still have time to make it happen, and they are looking to make it happen with Ochai Agbaji because he's on an expiring contract. They probably won't be renewing that contract. And honestly, this season, like, he hasn't been playing that well for them anyway. So Ochai Agbaji is the biggest trade candidate. So hopefully it's somebody that we can use to, give somebody an expiring contract to get that off the books at the end of the year and to bring us a center who can provide value off the bench. Now, the names I gave previously are guys like, Brook Lopez, Kevon Looney, guys that I think could perform a role. And what the Raptors need to be looking for when going for a center, when going for a backup center for Poeltl, like, you can't just bring in any old center here. Like, the specific things the Raptors need to be looking at to bring in are rim protection and rebounding. Pretty much like it. If you can protect the rim and you can rebound well, I think this is a good fit here for you to provide stability to position, especially with the injury concerns that currently exist for Jakob Poeltl. He just hasn't been healthy this season. He's missed a lot of games. He can just wake up any morning and all of a sudden he's not playing because his back hurts. It is what it is there. I gotta tell you, Nick Richards does not satisfy the criteria that I have, and that's putting it very eloquently. Now, where there is some positive is that he's on an expiring contract. He is making $5 million, so you do duck the tax at least when you do this. You are ducking the tax. Because Agbaji makes a little bit more than that. You make this trade, you're ducking the tax. Phoenix doing you a favor, helping you duck the tax, cost you a second-round pick. From a value perspective, I guess it's okay. But really, I am not a very big Nick Richards fan. Like, I remember when last season, when the Suns were spiraling, they needed a center desperately. I remember when they went out and grabbed Nick Richards off of the Charlotte Hornets, and they traded Josh Okogie to do it, which probably wasn't that good of a decision. But it was Josh Okogie and 3 future second-round picks for a player I thought didn't help them. Like, Nick Richards is one of those players that, from a talent perspective, like watching the player play, like, clearly it's a player who has basketballing ability. But is that ability that of someone, is that talent, I guess, and where the talent lies, is that conducive towards winning basketball? And unfortunately, in the case of Nick Richards, I just don't really think so. And this season, for a Suns team that has been doing better. He hasn't been. He's been doing worse. He's averaging 3.4 points per game this season. He's only playing 9.4 minutes. Yeah, he's an efficient scorer on twos, but he doesn't shoot threes. He's not a good defender. Not a good rim protector at all. Like, decent rebounder, which is good, but not a good rim protector at all. Not a floor spacer. Like, I get it's cheap, and there's only certain things you can get for a player at that cheap of a contract. And look, it wouldn't make the Raptors worse making this trade, I think. But unfortunately, I just have to say, there's just you're trying to be a playoff team here in Toronto this season. You got to be more serious than that. I'm sorry. You just have to be more serious than that. You need to bring in somebody who's giving you better levels than that of Nick Richards. Like, this is not a perfect stat, but let's look at the net rating this season. The Suns are minus 11.85 when he's on the court this season. Minus 11.85. When he's off the floor, they have a 2.77 net rating. And they've been good this season. He's not playing that much. But when he's on the floor, he's a net rating of minus 11.85. Like, if you dig into some of the more advanced stats from the defensive side of the ball, there's some alarming numbers in here that do not bode well for him. He cannot defend. He cannot defend the rim. I get he's tall, but he cannot defend. And I think, like, if you were to trade for him, it would only give you a headache because you would have to you would struggle giving this guy minutes because of his inability to play defense. Again, it's a player that has talent, and he can give you a little bit of scoring, but man, like, he hasn't shown that this season for the Phoenix Suns. And like, we just need to be a much more serious team from a Raptors perspective if we're actually trying to make the playoffs season. And like I said, you backloaded Jakob Poeltl's contract. You traded for Brandon Ingram. You've committed tons of money to Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickly. Like, this is a team that wants to win, and I'm really upset when they try to spin the narrative in a different, that they're not as concerned with winning, they're rebuilding, all that. If you're trying to win and make the playoffs, this is not a serious trade. This is a trade that does not showcase any sort of seriousness for your organization. And I'm coming down really hard on Nick Richards, but that is just like the reality here. This is not the fix that the Raptors need, and it is not the fix that the Raptors should be looking for here. Now, if we can go to Orlando, let's say, and a name like Goga Bitadze becomes available, wow, that is a player that moves the needle for your team off the bench. You know, it's not like cranking it, but it's making your team better. I don't think this trade really moves the needle. I don't think this trade really makes you better. So for me, yeah, I would just avoid this one. Like, you have an asset in Abaji, and again, it could just come down to there's no interest in Abaji. This is a way for the Raptors to duck the tax, which is something that they want to do, and obviously that's important. But like, this is like, I don't know. Maybe it's not as severe as this, but like, you know, we're not going to put like a bandage over like a huge pipe leak in our bathroom, right? It's just going to eventually, the water's going to start shooting out of it again. This is not gonna plug the hole and the issue from the team. I do think guys like Kevon Looney and Brook Lopez, who are obviously not the players they used to be, but I still think even them, at least they could provide a little bit more stability to the spot and the backup center position that Nick Richards, to me, is just not providing. So again, it'd just be an unserious move from Bobby Webster, and it would be a move that I would genuinely I would not be thrilled with. It's just because we can and should be doing better, and that's what it comes down to. So, you know, in the chat, somebody asked, "Is Nick Richards bad?" Yeah, I think he kind of is, honestly. I like the idea of a backup big to help Mobo get more minutes at power forward. I like the idea of a backup big to give Mobo less minutes, I think, period, because it worries me that he does not provide NBA caliber minutes at the moment, which can change as a young player, but you're right. I think less Mobo at center is good, though. More perimeter defense, I think, is better for him. Do you feel like some of these trades, like the hypothetical with Orlando, would require a third team? I mean, maybe, but typically 3-team trades are no-team trades. Just you don't see them often enough for me to like seriously consider them when I kind of go through trades and mock trades and such. I mean, it's possible like the Brandon Ingram trade. Was it like the Pelicans got a pick in there somehow? Just to kind of help you balance the books. Or I don't know. That's usually what it is. But like as far as like genuine assets going in 3 different directions for teams, you just don't really see that very often. So I don't really see that happening. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much going to do it for today. We're pretty much at the hour, and I'm out of content. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. I apologize for missing yesterday's stream. If you don't know, there was a gas leak in my building. I had to evacuate. No threat to my safety or anything, just like a precaution. But it made me miss enough of the game that I had to unfortunately just decide like I can't do this. I don't want to like join late on the game. Especially annoying that happened because I am missing tomorrow's stream, and that was like predetermined. Basically, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the reasoning here, but this day every year, I am never gonna have personal plans on this specific date any day, potentially for like the rest of my life. So, can't stream on December 20th ever. So not streaming on December 20th of this year. The schedule upcoming for streams. I will be missing, obviously, tomorrow's game against the Celtics. Sunday the 21st, I will be available. I'll be streaming. Tuesday the 23rd, should be streaming. There's a thing I'm doing at work right before this. So I may just join late, but I should be streaming. And Boxing Day, it's a no. I'm at a Christmas dinner with some family. I do part of celebrations occur on the 26th for a certain aspect of the family. 28th, I'll be here. 29th, I'll be here. 31st, New Year's Eve, I'm not streaming that day, sadly. I got plans. Then we should be pretty much back to normal from there, except for some changes maybe in February. But anyways, streaming. Saturday, no. Sunday, yes. Tuesday, yes. Friday, no. Sunday, yes. Monday, yes. Wednesday, New Year's Eve, no. So, sporadic for content. Best way to keep up to date is by subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell as well so you just always know when content's coming out. You can also hit the like button if you do enjoy this content. Help bring us up to some new viewers. But thank you, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday. I won't see you Saturday, but I will see you Sunday.